One of the most common questions that I get online is, Kris, how much house can I buy? How much real estate can I own based on my income? And you know what? I've never made a video about it. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about how much house you can buy based on your income. And today we're gonna use an example of $80,000. If you make $80,000 a year, how much house can you buy? So today we're really gonna do a deep dive on affordability. It's like, Kris, over the last 5 years, the price of real estate has really gone up. The national median house is sitting literally over $400,000. But if I'm making, for example, $80,000 a year, well, can I even afford that national median home? The national median household income in our country currently is $71,000 a year. So we round it up to $80,000 and we're basically gonna say, what can you afford? Well, today I want to teach you a rule. It's called the 28-36 rule. And it's the rule you want to know when really trying to figure out, based on my income, what can I really afford? And the reason why we're doing this is because it's very easy to become house poor. And what that means is it's like, okay, Kris, I saved up all my pennies, I worked really hard, and I got a house. And literally, I maxed myself out. I basically bought what I could afford, but it has me so strapped. I feel like I have so little discretionary income. And I don't know, did I make a really awful decision? Maybe you did. You should have some rules when it comes to how much house you can buy. And today it's called the 28-36 rule. Literally watched a bunch of reels on like TikTok, social media of like Gen Zers that had basically scraped all their pennies together. They bought a house and they're literally sitting in these houses empty and alone because they don't have any leftover money to even furnish the place. So let's talk about this 28-36 rule. 28 represents 28% of your income is what you use towards a house payment. And the 36 part of the rule is that 36% should include all of your total debt. So let me give you an example of what this looks like. Let's start with that $80,000 a year salary. Let's divide it by 12 months. And what you get is a person who is pulling in $6,666 a month. I don't know if that was the smartest number for us to use, but we're just gonna stick with it. So 6666. So if you take $6,666 a month and you multiply it by the rule of 0.28, it will tell you that you can basically afford a payment of $1,866 a month. So you're like, okay, I don't know how much house I can afford yet, but I know the mortgage payment that I can cover. Next, we're gonna say, well, how much total debt load should you basically have? We're gonna take that same monthly income of $6,666 a month, and now we're gonna multiply it by 0.36. And it basically says all of your total revolving debts every month should not total more than $2,399 a month. And here's what the rule is basically saying. If you buy a house where your payment does not exceed $1,866 a month, and if the rest of your debts, like you have a car loan and some credit card payments, as long as it doesn't equal more than $2,399 a month, you're actually gonna be in a financial healthy situation. Basically, you're not going to be house poor. Now in 2024, because of what happened to the price of real estate and where rates have been, the 28-36 rule has been very difficult for anyone to be able to manage. But last Wednesday, the Fed lowered interest rates by another 0.5%. But remember, they haven't done that more than twice since 2001. Literally, the last time they did it was 2007. So this is not an easy rule to keep, but with rates coming down, it just got easier. For example, interest rates are now in the 5% range, but let's take a look at where they were at last month, where you were sitting at 6.5%. If you wanted to know, for example, how much house you could afford, what purchase price that would support a $1,866 a month payment. So at a 30-year loan at 6.5% interest with a traditional 20% down, it means that you could actually buy a $310,000 house. Now it's a little discouraging because the national median is over $400,000, and we know that $80,000 a year is basically $9,000 higher than the current national median household income. In other words, you're doing better than the average person, but you can't quite afford the average house. But with interest rates now sitting closer to 5.5%, it's not a $310,000 house to keep that payment at $1,866. It's now a $372,000 house. In other words, it increased by $62,000, which is actually a very large, significant difference. So basically with what's happening in the market, you could buy a condo or a townhouse or a really small house, or you could take that same amount of money and deploy it in an investment property where you actually get greater performance on your money and worry about a primary residence down the road. We are at a critical time in history where I've always told people, hey, go buy a primary residence for you and your family to live in and then focus on investing. But because of what's happened to the price of real estate, if you had to choose between an investment property and a primary residence, go rent, but put your money in an investment property that gives you an opportunity to have your money start making money for you. I mean, imagine it. When you buy a house to live in for yourself, it doesn't produce income, so it puts a financial strain and hardship on you, even with rates coming down. But if you had a choice and all you could do is buy an investment property that you rent out to a family, well, now you could actually be getting paid a positive cash flow, have an appreciating asset, still get all the tax benefits. Does that make sense? Now, the reality is you could go and find a deal yourself, or you could partner up with someone like me or have me be your mentor and let me show you how to intelligently acquire real estate that is designed to give you the greatest return on your money. I'm talking to, like, compared to a 401k, potentially making 27 times more money just by being in the game of real estate. And if you want to know how that works, request a free game plan. Click the link below, get with me and my team. All you have to do is just drop your name, phone, and email and say, can someone contact me, send me the special report, and ultimately tell me, in my situation, how would you go about becoming a multimillionaire through the game of real estate? If you're interested in that, click the link below. Let me show you how. And you've got some options. It might be, Kris, I've got some money and I want to partner with you. Let's go build a portfolio. Or it might be, I don't got a lot to work with, but I also have a brand new fund that is open to the public that has amazing historical track record on what I've done in real estate and the money I've made. So either way, if you're committed to getting in the game, whether you want to be super passive or even if you have just a little bit to work with, but you know you want to invest in real estate, click the link below. Let me show you the easiest way to get in the game. Listen, I hope you enjoyed today's video, but if you're really curious about how to get involved in the game of real estate with like the least amount of effort and the least amount of money, I made a video right here showing you the easiest way to get involved so you can become literally a real estate investor overnight. Click right here, watch the video. Let me show you.